Yo, what's going on guys? Mush back at it with the top 5 best PC game deals of the week. This series has been absent for a while, but now we're back in full force, and obviously this series has got to come back. Got some great deals this week. Obviously, tomorrow's a big day for game deals, but we'll talk about that in another video today. Let's get into the top 5 game deals that are available right now, and let's start with number 5. Number 5, over on Gamersgate, they've got the Unreal Deal Pack. It's a bunch of Unreal Tournament games: Unreal Gold, Unreal 2 The Awakening, Unreal Tournament 2004, Unreal Tournament 3 Black, my favorite, and Unreal Tournament Game of the Year Edition. All of that for just $3.60. Now, I can't say that this is like a phenomenal deal because a lot of the multiplayer servers for these games are dead. I tried to play Unreal Tournament 3 a few years ago and it was very hard to find a game. You can play bot games, which is fun and all. I mean, I like the gameplay of these games, and obviously it's still possible, just a little bit difficult. But to get all of these games for just $3.60, I think is a pretty good deal. They're fun first-person shooters and extremely fast-paced. Sure, technically at this point in 2017, they don't hold up as well to a lot of other shooters that are coming out, but you're only paying $3.60, so that's well worth it. Moving on to number 4, over on Steam, they've got Killing Floor 2 50% off, down from $30 all the way to $15. Killing Floor 2 is a great game, especially if you got a few friends to play with. They've also got the Killing Floor 2 6-pack 50% off for $75. So essentially, you're buying 5 copies of Killing Floor 2 and you're getting 1 free copy. If you got 6 people that want to pick up the game, then you can divide the cost up and it'll be a little bit cheaper. Kind of wish it was a 4-pack. I just feel like needing 5 other people to buy the game is a little too much. 3 other people is a little bit more manageable, but I digress. You can get the game itself for $15, and that is a great deal. It's a wave-based survival game that gets progressively more and more difficult, and it's a lot of fun. Great weapons, great gameplay, a lot of gore, and if you have a squad to play with, this is a game that you could find yourself always going back to. The replay value in these games are just very high, and it's one of those games that when all else fails, you always have Killing Floor 2 to go back to, and to have that experience for $15 I think is well worth it. Would I like to see it be a little bit cheaper? Yeah, if it was 75% off for $7.50, that would just be an insane deal. Maybe we'll see that sooner rather than later.
Dispatch out. Nice work. We can reopen the treatment pods.
Watch my back. Reload.
Number 3, also available on Steam, This War of Mine is 80% off, down to $4. If you guys don't know what This War of Mine is, it is a fantastic indie game set in a war-torn city. However, you do not play as elite soldiers, rather you play as civilians just trying to stay alive. It's a very interesting game, very different, and it explores a somewhat generic setting and premise from a new angle, and that makes the game very interesting. You have to look out for things like food, medicine, dangers from hostile snipers. If you're into games being a little bit more dark and grim, this is one I highly recommend to check out. This is a game that I've been batting for a long time. It came out all the way back in 2014, and at this point, some people have forgotten about it. If you haven't played it, 80% off, down to $4, I think it's well worth it. And if you already have the game, well, you should know that the Little Ones DLC is also 50% off, from $5 down to $2.50, so you can check that out if you've already got the game.
Forget those days. Things you see in war stay with you forever.
Number 2 is a deal that's readily available, but I think is relevant right now because the sequel is on its way, and number 2 is Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. If you guys don't know, Middle-earth Shadow of War is due out in October. That game looks great, and the Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor bundle is available on Bundle Stars for $5. This includes Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and the DLC content, so that is a lot of content for your money. Shadow of Mordor at this point in 2017, I wouldn't say is the premier open world experience. There are games that are better, but this is still a great game. It's got great combat, although a little bit on the easy side. Think something like Batman Arkham. It's very responsive. The world itself isn't something enormous. Don't think of something like The Witcher 3. It's more of a contained experience. There is a decent amount of exploration. It's just also a contained environment, but it's got a solid amount of content, and for $5 to get all of this content, how can you go wrong with it? And on PC, technically, it's really great as well.
Back of our captain. He was a useless schrock. Clearly, or he wouldn't have been taught. Get behind him!
Finally, number 1, I just compared Middle-earth to Batman Arkham, and would you look at that, number 1 is Batman Arkham City Game of the Year Edition, down 75% off to $5. This is a deal on the Humble store, so if you are a Humble monthly subscriber, you will save another 10%, knocking it down to $4.50. I recommend everyone, if you're into getting good games, to be a Humble monthly subscriber. That is just one of the best values if you're a gamer. I have a whole video out on that, so if you want to look that up, you can. However, even if you're not a subscriber, Batman Arkham City for $5 is a great deal. Again, this is the Game of the Year edition. In my opinion, Arkham City is the best Arkham game. It took everything great about Arkham Asylum, made it better, made the world a little bit bigger, and in my opinion, it didn't suffer from some of the pitfalls that were present in Arkham Knight. Graphically, the game still looks very good, although this was a last generation game, so comparatively speaking to Arkham Knight, it's not at that level, but still looks really good. Gameplay is great. It's got some great puzzles, a lot of content. Arkham Asylum was the first game, and that was more of a contained experience. The world was pretty small, and there wasn't that much exploration. Arkham City definitely opened the game up, gave you a lot more exploration and a lot more content. And if you haven't played the Arkham games, I would recommend to play all of them, but if you just want to try out one of them, Arkham City for $5 for the Game of the Year edition. Can't go wrong with that. Just a great game for a great price.
Sitting out here in the cold, while all the good stuff's happening in there.
Just do what Two-Face says. Batman, he's here!
You were right! It's the man!
So that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Some pretty good game deals this weekend. That's definitely gonna roll on tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.